तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि श्री हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So we are entering into chapter number 8. The title is 5 Limbs of Practice Affecting Bhava. Having read the previous chapter, thoughtful devotees will question whether following all the aspects of Vaidhi Bhakti is actually favorable for cultivation or cultivating raga. After all, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains the regulated devotional service practiced in awe and veneration lead one to the Vaikuntha and the 4 kinds of liberation. It does not lead to Vrindavan and Ragatmika Bhakti. And Ramananda Rai has also said that Vaidhi Marg na paye vraje Krishna Chandra. One cannot obtain Krishna in Golok Vrindavan simply by serving the Lord according to the regulative principles. This is Vidhi Marga. This first and second quotations, they are from Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, 3rd chapter, 17th verse, and Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 8 chapters, 226 verse. So, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and Ramananda Rai, they are of the opinion that you cannot go back to Godhead in Golok Vrindavan simply on Vaidhi Marg. But nonetheless, we have also seen that even by practicing, that is Vidhi Marg, at least you will be able to understand the value of the attachment to the spontaneity of our practice. That will be automatically turning into Ragamarg. So there must be some transition in between, and it may be noticeable or not. But nonetheless, up till now, we have been saying that Vaidhi Marg has been appreciated. So, Rupa Goswami resolves this quandary with the 3rd verse outlined in the practice of Raganuga Bhakti. Sarvan Notkirtanadi, Shravanot Vaidhi Bhakti Uditani tu Yani Angani cha Tanin Atra Vigneyani Manishid Bihi. The discriminating practitioners should accept the limbs of Vaidhi Bhakti. They are favorable for Raganuga Bhakti, such as hearing and chanting, accepting those regulated practices as the limbs of spontaneous practice. This is explained by Rupa Goswami. And you will find it in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, first canto, second chapter, 296 verse. So, what does it mean that Rupa Goswami is compromising? No, something which is favorable to keep on the raga, that is attachment, by uddipana of shravanam and kirtanam must be very favorable to remain in Raganuga Bhakti. They cannot shut their mouth and ear because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kept the regulated practice of preaching in the sound vibrations. So again, that verse, Shravanot Kirtanadini Vaidhi Bhakti Udditani to Yani Angani Chatani Atra Vigneyani Manishibihi. That discriminating practitioners should accept the limbs of Vaidhi Bhakti. When it is should, means one must, that are favorable for Raganuga Bhakti, such as hearing and chanting, accepting those regulated practices as the limbs of spontaneous practice. If you are required to do some service, manual service, and you are spontaneously coming forward to do that, that means that practice which was done previously as a Vaidhi Bhakti, it is going to help in Raganuga Bhakti. How do devotees discern which limb of regulated devotional service are favorable for cultivating raga and which are not? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur identified 5 limbs of practice that are distinguished by their different effect on cultivation of spontaneous devotional service. That is also spoken by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Ragavartma Chandrika, first chapter, 13th verse. See how producer acharyas are helping us, to clarify more and more. So he identifies 5 limbs of practice that are distinguished by the different effect on the cultivation of spontaneous devotional service. He calls this tad bhavanamaya, bhavamaya, the actual mood, bhava, for which a practitioner aspires and which saturates all his practices, tad bhava sambandhi, bhava sambandhi. Those activities of devotion that are related to bhava, tad bhava anukula, those favorable to the bhava, tad bhava aviruddha, those not opposed to bhava, and tad bhava pratikula, those which are opposed to the bhava. These are the 2 types, bhava anukula, bhava pratikula. This is also explained in Bhakti Rasatmika Sindhu Bindu, first chapter, 11th verse. So, what is favorable to the bhava, that practice that we were doing previously, now that can be continued. They will be favorable. For example, spontaneous devotional service sometimes is exhibited by the devotee. It is not a mental thing, but it is practicable, and sometimes in the material term it is called, or the person snapped out immediately and went up. Whatever bhava anukula services are there, we see Hanuman also practiced bhava anukula. He is a servant and service must be continued. But he acted very spontaneously. Spontaneity in his devotional service can be understood. That is my understanding that's coming up. So, Tadbhava pratikula, that which is opposed to the bhava, should be not accepted. In this context, bhava is synonymous with the specific kind of raga for which the sadhak aspires. As understanding of these divisions helps the practitioner to not only select those practices that are favorable for raga, but to discern the regulative contributions those practices make up of the development of raga. If it is like an uddipan, an inspirational activity that we were performing that can inspire to develop that particular mood or the bhava, then it is helpful. So Prabhupada said, know everything, it will come, So wherever your knowledge, the previously acquired knowledge of and such practice of it may turn into a requirement of a spontaneous activity. Bhava anukula. The examples will be said. Tadbhava maya is a specific mood of devotion to which the devotee has a spontaneous attraction. Every Raganuga sadhak is drawn to one or the four relationship of Vraja. As explained earlier, that is their bhava or raga. According to the intensity of one's mood, one's devotional service, devotional activities are proportionately pervaded. Thus, when a devotee acts of devotion, out of devotion, especially chanting and hearing, are infused with his bhava, and the same bhava is nourished at its roots. Roots means Shravan and Kirtan. These are the roots of developing bhakti. And the way you hear and chant, that will immediately, becomes a precursor of your bhava. The beginning, that is Uddipak. Deepak means already lightened flame, but Uddipak, one that induces to light the flame of bhava. Such practices are also said to be favorable to Raganuga Bhakti. Many a times when we hear particular song, and we also automatically drawn to accompany with it. That is good. Congregational chanting is exactly like, but with a discipline. So many a times, we are tend to recite along with, but our practice in chanting is through hearing first. Somebody leads the kirtan and you accompany in the same mood. If it is an enthusiastic kirtan, people will become enthusiastic. They will dance a lot. But some devotees have practiced to dance anyway. And he will be not on the bhava stage, but indiscipline activity which draws attention uh, of such a person more than accompaniment of the bhava. Uh, attraction, you know, if he is acting, people will also see. So instead of the cultivation of bhava, he becomes the center of the bhava. And it's a disturbing thing sometimes. We say, hey, Prabhu, just wait. So anyway, the idea is that thus bhava means is that by which bhava, the goal, is achieved. Bhava creates bhava. So if it is spontaneous, when the rhythm takes on a high pitch and fast speech, then bhava automatically enthuses. They call it enthusiastic kirtan. But actually, there were the finer elements of the bhava were embedded in it. Here the examples are given. The difference between the two is that the former is unripe, whereas later is ripe. Uh, uh, the former means when you hear and chant and then you immediately get into this, action of the bhava. Have you seen some devotees dancing as soon as the kirtan starts? When the real tempo begins, then people jump in, and then it will be like spontaneous. You know, spontaneous doesn't mean that you have to jump right from the beginning. You know, we have to meditate, and then when the tempo begins, then you can move faster and catch the attention. That's okay. But right from the beginning, it's a premature attention is given to such a person. So the difference between the two is that the former is unripe, whereas the later is ripe. In this way, the mood of devotion is original or efficient cause of bhava, as well as of its development to maturity. That is called tad bhava maya. If our attachment is not mature, then uh, many a times we see the same person who was spontaneously, as if spontaneously dancing, does not participate in another way, because that may not be his mood. So the bhava is not developed there. But mature bhava is important. That is called tad bhava maya. The example can be given of the greed of a materialistic merchant. Every product that he manufactures is based on his greed to make more and more money. As he sells his products for a profit, his greed to become wealthy increases, and in time he truly becomes affluent. The greed, which is the direct cause of the merchant's wealth, is tad bhavamaya. This is a factor to be understood. Then there should be greed, but greed generally gradually increases. If suddenly you jump into it, it is not a gradual development. So, therefore, sometimes such premature bhava becomes a distraction. So this example of a merchant increasing his greed is quite parallel to the bhava. The greed which is direct cause of the merchant's wealth. Keep the greed tad bhavamaya. Tad bhava sambandhi, or the devotional activity related to bhava, are the fundamental aspects of Krishna consciousness that are the ingredient causes for the development of raga, attachment. Gradual increment in the greed is developing into the raga or attachment of it. Sadhana related to bhava includes the acceptance of the spiritual master, chanting diksha mantras, worshipping the deities, and hearing and speaking about the service of Brajavasis to whom one is attracted. See, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam, but then Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam, that is awarded to the second initiates. So they can concentrate more on the bhava, that acceptance of spiritual master, chanting diksha mantras, worship of deities, and hearing and speaking about the service of Brijvasi to whom one is attracted. These are the sadhana related to bhava. The neophyte devotee, just beginner, he may not be regulated in chanting and hearing, but such chanting and hearing eventually leads him to take diksha. When he becomes mature after 1 year or so, he is encouraged to do some deeper study of the Shastra. We have a process to make him at least appear for Bhakti Shastri. That will qualify him to understand the attachment to the regulated practice and including that of the Archanam, Vandanam, Pada Sevanam, like that. So these are also the activities increased through the greed and development of the bhava. Then what to speak of going to dasyam sakhyam atma nivedanam. Dasyam sakhyam atma nivedanam. There are so much specific services that one has to reciprocate. So these are bhavamayi seva. So tadbhava sambandhi or devotional activities related to bhava are the fundamental aspects of Krishna consciousness that are the ingredient cause for the development of raga, means attachment. Sadhana related to bhava includes the acceptance of spiritual master, chanting diksha mantra, worship of deities, and hearing and speaking about the service of Brijvasi to whom one is attached. When the devotee's mood of devotion is saturated with these activities, practicing them further shapes and nourishes the devotee's thoughts and feelings. As the direct cause of development of bhava, they are said to be related to bhava, tad bhava sambandhi. These practices are carried out in the relation to the bhava. They are initially serving as uddipak, means just sparkling, and then it has to catch fire. So similarly, the bhava sambandhi activities are understood to be in Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atmanivedanam. So Ramananda Rai gives the example of how service and specifically remembrance is related to bhava. अतएव गोपी भाव करी अंगीकार रात्रि दिन चिंते राधा कृष्णेर विहार सिद्ध देहे चिंती करे तन्हानि सेवन सखी भावे पाय राधा कृष्णेर चरण. Therefore one should accept the mood of the gopi bhav in their service. In such a transcendental mood, one should always think of the pastimes of Sri Radha and Krishna. After thinking of Radha and Krishna and their pastimes for a long time, and after getting completely free from the material contamination, one is transferred to the spiritual world. There are devotees attains an opportunity to serve Radha and Krishna as one of the gopis. That is spoken in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 8, chapter 228 and 229 verses. Two verses are there. So Ramananda Rai is directing and instructing about how the bhava of the gopis, which is said to be the highest, can be developed. Vibrating the Gopal mantra is an example of practice referred to bhava. Whichever of the four modes of devotion a devotee aspires for is directly nourished by the Gopal mantra. Why do we meditate on Gopal mantra? The second initiate should know which is Gopal mantra because they are supposed to recite before Kama Gayatri. That is Gopal. Vibrating Gopal mantra is an example of practice related to bhava. So when you chant your Gayatri, remember this, an important aspect, what mood we should be creating in chanting all different mantras. Because even Guru mantra, Guru Gayatri is giving the mood and mission of the Guru. Similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Gauranga Gayatri, is also exhibiting the functionality of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in distributing the love of Godhead through chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra to saturate all the people with mood, means the bhava of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How benevolent, how ultimate loving welfare that he desires for the people of Kali. So these are the aspects of meditating in cultivation of the bhava. So Gopala mantras should be also, referred through its translation and meditate on the translation. That will certainly create the bhava. So the same may be said for Kirtan of the Mahamantra. As the Yuga Dharma, it is most effective limb of Tadbhava Sambandhi. Although remembrance is the principal limb of Raganuga Bhakti, it is still dependent on Kirtan. In this regard, Jiva Goswami comments, Yadyanyaya Bhakti hi kalau kartavya tada kirtanakya bhakti samyoga naiva. Even though in the age of Kali one may perform the other 8 limbs of bhakti, nevertheless they must be accompanied by kirtan. Jiva Goswami is saying about in Krama Sandarbha, the commentary to Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 5th chapter, and 23rd and 24th verses, he comments this that Yadyanya Bhakti Kalau Kartavya Tada Kirtanakya Bhakti Sanyoga Naiva. Even though in the age of Kali, one may perform the other 8 branches of bhakti, nevertheless, they must be accompanied by kirtan. Krishna also recommends that which their specific mood devotees hear and narrate his pastimes. One should also glorify my transcendental qualities and activities here with love and faith and narration of my glories and constantly meditate on me. This is Lord Krishna's personal opinion. And this is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 11th chapter, 35th verse. Krishna also recommends that with their specific mood, devotees hear and narrate his pastimes. One should also glorify my transcendental qualities and activities, hear with love and faith the narrations of my glories, and constantly meditate on me. Srila Prabhupada also describes how the combination of hearing about Krishna and worshipping the deity is favorable for perfecting bhava. This development of conjugal love can be possible only with those who are already engaged in the following the regulative principles of devotional service, specifically in the worship of Radha and Krishna in the temple. Such devotees gradually develop a spontaneous love for the deity, and by hearing of the Lord's exchange of loving affairs with the gopis, they gradually become attracted to these pastimes. After this spontaneous attraction becomes highly developed, the devotee is placed in either of the above mentioned category of perfection. This is what Srila Prabhupada says in Nectar of Devotion, 16th verse. So you can imagine that those who are given, say, worship of Radha and Krishna, what mood they worship. They should constantly hear and chant, at least hearing the pastimes of the Lord, and spontaneously serve the Lord either in dressing or feeding or putting ornaments and decorating. All this, a pujari is supposed to perform while he is given the service of uh, worshipping the Supreme Lord Radha and Krishna deities on the altar. The curtains are closed, so he should not be distracted in his service. They can't talk on the altar because it changes the mood of service if somebody is. So, rapt silence should be there, and the meditative aspect while doing service should be applied for the perfect result of cultivating specific bhava, and especially the Gopi Bhav. We are not talking of Radha Bhav. We are talking of Gopi Bhav, who are the super servants of Radha and Krishna. This earlier example of the greedy men to understand Tad Bhava can also be given insight to Tad Bhava Sambandhi, relating to that Bhava. Although the greed is the original cause of the merchant's wealth, unless he manufactures his product and sells them, bargain in the process, his wealth cannot be realized, because this business transactions and their success are material cause of increasing the merchant's greed, and for realizing his wealth they are his tadbhava sambandhi. So the material bhava, material attachment, this is commented by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He refers to tadbhava sambandhi as the upadana karana. Upadana karana. The cause is called upadan. Upadan means acquiring something to increase something. That is, he has greed, but he must start producing. The produce, more the produce, then more the opportunity to get profit from. So that is called upadan karana, a terminology used in describing creation and translates as the material cause or the ingredient cause. This Ragavartma Chandrika, Ragavartma Chandrika. Ragavartma Chandrika. Tadabhava Sambandhi. So, that is Ragavartma Chandrika, first chapter 14th verse, has been referring to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Tadbhava Sambandhi as the Upadan Karana, a terminology used in describing creation and translates as the material cause or ingredient cause. Another more fundamental cause to creation is the efficient cause or original cause known as nimitta karana. What was the impetus that made you create something like that? Nimitta karana. In simple terms, creation has two aspects: Krishna's desire to create and the material ingredients with which creation is realized. Similarly, in relation to development of raga, to the stage of prema, tad bhava maya, the devotee's bhava is the efficient cause for tad bhava sambandhi in relation to that. So the primary act of devotion like Shravana Kirtan are the ingredients cause that facilitate the realization of bhava. This clicks to the idea of the creative ability in human being without creating attachment and greed. That is the root cause of getting into the bhava. A person thinks, oh, okay, I have also ability to create from the created things of the Lord. The human being is the fourth number of creator. The primary creator is Krishna, who creates 23 elements and then put the soul and Mahatattva, plus he himself enters as Paramatma, totally 26 elements for the existence and interaction, therefore it follows. So, Brahma becomes the secondary creator. Sarga and Visarga are more important. Then Brahma creates the living entities, including ninth number is human and 10th number is demigods and demons. And all number 9 and number 10 have this creative ability. Paurusham drushu. Ability in human being. So, but this ability originally has been given to create that bhava. That is the purpose that they have been given, the ability to become Raganuga Bhaktas. It means the ability was rightly used, not for increasing one's greed and getting Bhogeshwarya Prasaktanam. Then a completely reverse reaction will be ensued. That Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Samadhavna Vidiyate. The same ability can be dovetailed in loving devotional service, creating the bhava, and can help us to take to Gopi bhava. It is possible by the system, but when we abuse the system for our sense gratification, even though we have experience of bhava or feelings, man has bhava for women and women has bhava for men, but women can be also distracted with bhava of so many materially created beings. So attachment is also there, but material attachment paves the way to hell, but spiritual attachment can make you transcend and go back to Krishna. So the system is working both in material as well as spiritual ways. But we have to give up the system that keeps us binding in the ignorance of our existence. And we should always try to put it and purify in process of Shravanam Kirtanam. That will help us to put ourselves in the bhava. So, next three divisions involving the department of Raganuga Bhakti are Tadbhava Anukula, practice that are helpful to the development of bhava, and Tadbhava Aviruddha, those that have a neutral effect, and Tadbhava Pratikula, those that are harmful and so are to be rejected. Tadbhava Anukul includes the observance of Ekadashi, Janmashtami, and Vav of Kartika. Tadbhava Anukul. See the examples. Why do we do Ekadashi? But we never run into the bhava stage. But understanding that these are precursors of the bhava, they are required elements of our sadhana bhakti. So simultaneously performing sadhana during Ekadashi, Janmashtami or vows of Kartika, these observance should be accompanied by the glorification of Vraj Bhakti and the renunciation of sense pleasure, like fasting should be done solely for the purpose of attaining pure one's coveted perfection. Another practice is that exemplifies Bhava Anukula is the worship of Tulsi Devi with the words like Yei Nivedana Dharo Sakhira Anugata Karo Seva Adhikar Diye Karo Nijadasi. I beg you to make me a follower of the cowherd damsels of Vraja. Please give me the privilege of devotional service and make me your own maid servant. Number 11 is the Tulsi Puja Kirtan, fourth verse. So, understanding this is pretty, uh, taught in the worship, but we were never told about that why we perform Ekadashi, why we perform Tulsi Puja, why we perform uh, Janamastami, to increase the sentiments, the bhava, all these are perfected, but we have to speak on those days, especially remind the type of devotion that we are specially performing today is to increase our uh, uh, bhava, which are very favorable, bhava anukula. These are the worship of Tulsi Devi, activities like Ekadashi. They are the direct limbs of remembrance, chanting and hearing and they are related to bhava. And while they are the ingredients of Raganuga Bhakti, their observance is compulsory. In this regard, Srila Prabhupada comments in the Bhakti Sandarbha by Srila Jiva Goswami, there is a quotation from Skanda Puran admonishing that a person who eats grains on Ekadashi becomes a murderer of his mother. A person who eats grains on Ekadashi becomes a murderer of his mother. Not only mother, but father, brother, and the spiritual master. And even if he is elevated to Vaikuntha planet, he falls down. On Ekadashi, everything is cooked for Vishnu, including regular grains and dal, but it is enjoyed that a Vaishnava should not even take Vishnu Prasadam on Ekadashi. This is given in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, 15th chapter, 9th verse. Say, Maharaj is putting every quotation, within our grip of study. We don't have to go out and try to, understand why we are doing this, just to increase our attachment. And we should develop a greed within our own practices that will lead us to bow. Devotees will note that following those activities that are related to the favorable to bhava are not optional, means they are compulsory. Even though they are the limbs of spontaneous devotion, they cannot be neglected. For instance, one cannot neglect to surrender to and take initiation from the spiritual master. Spontaneous devotion does not mean whimsy, but molding one's acquired bhava according to the recognized procedures. When the devotee neglects the direction of the saints and scriptures, their spontaneous devotion becomes a sham and their conduct a disturbance in the Vaishnava circle. In this regard, great devotees commenting on Raganuga Sadhana have cited the following verse to emphasize the importance of following the duties prescribed by the scriptures. Shruti Smruti Puranadi Pancharatriki Vidin Vina Aikantiki Harer Bhakti Rutpatayat Kalpate. Devotional service of the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedic literature like the Upanishads, Puranas, Narada Pancharatra is simply an unnecessary disturbance in the society. This has been given in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, first canto, second chapter, 101 verse. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur includes wearing tilak, neck beads, tilaka, tulsi, neck beads, and tilaka, and the names of the footprints of Krishna drawn with Gopi Chandan as Bhava Anukula. Being daily functions, they are accompanied by, and so are the limbs of, the recitation of Krishna's names and remembrance of him. This practice is of putting tilaka on 12 different places, reciting the name of the deity there is also bhava anukula. So a devotee is very keen that he do not do everything mechanically, but rather understand the bhava anukula, and it's also the mental worship of that specific deity with their name on that particular part of the body. So this is bhava anukula. Being daily function, they are accompanied by, and so are the limbs of the recitation of the Krishna's names and remembrance of him. Don't just put tilak without chanting the respective name of the deity. Another limb of bhakti is that is favorable to raganuga sadhana is not a practice but a frame of mind. The universally praised Vaishnava quality of humility. It's a frame of mind. Raganuga practice is favored by cultivating that framework of mind, that is Tranadapi Sunichena, Tarorapi Sahishnana. This is the frame of the mind. The materially praised Vaishnava quality of humility. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has defined the cultivation of the symptoms of humility in this way. Trinadapi suni chena tarori vasahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. One who thinks himself lower than the grass, who is more tolerant than a tree, and who does not accept personal honor, yet is always prepared to give all respects to others, can very easily always chant the holy name of the Lord. This is given in Chaitanya Charitamrita of the Sikshashtakam part, third verse. We have few more limbs to be discussed. And is it understandable, this fractionalizing the different kinds of, you know, acceptability to kindle the bhava? It is all within our practice. Have you ever noticed that we never went out of our practice to understand so far? Hello, I'm putting.
Yes, Gurumaj.
It's all within. So who said that we are uh, studying what you call uh, a very forbidden subject? Rather, we are revisiting our practices, but with a deeper sense of understanding deeply that they are the real cause of our, bhava. We may be attracted to one or more limbs. Hello.
Hare Krishna, Gurumaj.
Anybody has a
Janeshwar has a question on the chat. He's saying, following Ekadasi, Krishna, this gives a totally different dimension. How far is this applicable to sadhaka in the initial stages? What to speak of non-devotees? I don't quite understand.
A non-devotee can understand, oh, they are religious, forget, who the hell cares? So he does not perform. Okay. But those who are told that, yes, this is a regulated practice and you must perform. So he develops some faith, Adav Shraddha, and Tato Sadhu Sangha, because the association of the devotees will also give the impetus to perform Ekadashi and Sadhana. That is the second stage. But then he becomes acquainted and he remembers. Then he goes for the deeper, sadhana process, that he will fast from the grains 18 hours before the Ekadashi starts, because he doesn't want to retain any grain within his body, because the grain is the root cause of bodily conception of life. So on the Ekadashi, to get rid of bodily conception of life, which is also said in the terms of Papa Purusha, he realizes by understanding the Ekadashi Mahatmya on that particular day, by reading the story, he gets impetus, and such a deeper understanding will create a craving for the higher taste. And if he develops greed for that, then naturally he understands the deeper meaning of the deeper interactions of with the specific desiring closeness to understand Krishna's acceptance of this particular uh, 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 austerity of performing Ekadashi. So devotee will become much more closer in their pursuit of this. And the sadhana is an external thing, but the bhava is an internal thing. So he will go to dive deep into the bhava bhakti, spontaneous devotional service. His activities of spontaneity will become uh, uh, much more valuable than simply mechanically performing devotional service. But when you add the bhav, it becomes a very flavorful activity which is drawing closer to Krishna. The same thing, but with a deeper meaning and deeper conviction. The process is there which is favorable to cultivate bhava. Got it?
Thank you very much. Yes. Asita Raja Prabhu has a comment in the chat. He says, this chapter is very inspiring. For someone who observes the sadhana with sincerity, he is automatically advancing in rag if he has greed for the same. In the previous chapter, we studied that Krishna instills the mild greed in the form of eagerness in the heart of a sincere and serious sadhaka.
Good observance. Anything else?
Lala Samai has hand up. Lala Samai? You
Hare
can
Krishna
unmute.
Guru Maharaj, please. Yes, Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please, my humble obeisance. Guru Maharaj, I have one comment, one question, this Raganuga Bhakti is cultivation, the process, not by initiation. Because I met one Mataji in Mayapur. She got initiation from Vidhi Bhakti from Jayapataka Maharaj, but Raganuga Bhakti, she got initiation from Radhakun Babaji.
Foolish.
Yes.
They don't have patience that the same process is developing into the Raganuga Bhakti. These are the Anukul limbs.
Yeah. Even she got a two name. For Raganuga Bhakti, she has one name. And Vidhi Bhakti, she has one name.
Yeah, but we do not follow the Babajis. They are
Yes,
actually
yes,
interfering. Those
Guru
who
Maharaj, I
neglect,
have one. Yes, sorry,
those
sorry.
who neglect Guru, then what is the repercussions? Uh, Sarvadevo Maya Guru. One who considers the spiritual master to be an ordinary person. Samartya buddhyo asuyo sarvadeva mayo guru. Martya buddhya means his intelligence is dead. It's not discriminating between sat and asat. Neither that Babaji is going to take place of Jayapataka Swami.
Yes, Guru. Yeah. Guru Maharaj, I have one question that previous Dekula asked regarding the sadhana rupa and siddha rupa. So I heard that Srila Prabhupada pictured inside the altar is sadhana rupa, siddha rupa, and Srila Prabhupada murti in the temple is like for the sadhana rupa. Is it true?
Prabhupada introduced Guru Puja in front of the deities, showing the importance of the Guru so much. Of course, the qualification is needed, but qualification is given to those who are regulated and responsible to enter further into the intricacies, because the truth lies within the process. Prabhupada said that I may be imperfect, but the process I follow is perfect. So always discuss a perfect process that is given to us in ISKCON. How can a devotee claims him to be more qualified than his guru? Samartya buddhayo. His intelligence is dead. Because he harbors enviousness in the personality of God. Samartha buddhayo asuyo. Asuyo means he is envious. He doesn't know that Guru is the sum total of all the demigods. Sarva devo mayo Guru. So, to hide one's Martya Buddhi, he gives up his spiritual master and goes to another, thinking, after all, spiritual master is one. What a Martya Buddhi is there? A slight envy can create a big devastations. If he thinks that such a Babaji is God brother of Jayapataka Maharaj, but then there are so many God brothers who are making us understanding. We are referring within our ISKCON Sampradaya, the realization of our God brother. Do you think, is it Martya Buddhi? When enviousness is there, it spoils the game. The bhakti, which is ati guhyam, idam tu te guhyatamam prabhakshyami anasuyave, jnana vijnana sahitam yad gyatva moksheshvapat. We are entering into the vijnan, means practical knowledge of the development of attachment and greed and the bhavas. Otherwise, the devotee will remain unfulfilled if he does not make a tangible progress by regulated principles. The Guru is not limited only to regulated principles. I have an inclination to follow my God brother within ISKCON. So play safe. Why do you have to go out of and then accept a Radhakund Babaji? You are ill-informed if you go, thinking ISKCON doesn't have more to offer to you. Just like some people thought that ISKCON doesn't have more to offer other than the Ritviks. Similarly, these people are also, offenders. As if Prabhupada was incomplete. The process is perfect and complete because it is guaranteeing us to go back home, back to Godhead. It's in Purnam. There is nothing Apurnam. Apurnam is the rascal. Rascaldom is Apurnam. Whether it is Ritvik or going to Babaji.
Vishabhanu Sutta has a question, Guru Maharaj, on the chat.
Yes.
She says, at our sadhaka stage, why is it that we still hanker for food that is restricted, like chat items with onion and garlic? And she waits, on Ekadasi, she waits for Parayan time. Parana time so eagerly.
Uh,
How can she develop a taste exclusively for prasada?
Yes, Parana time we must follow because it is the completion of the vow that we have taken for the pleasure of the Lord. Did Ambarish Maharaj has any other thought than to please Lord Krishna when he performed Ekadashi and then the Parana also within the time? He was totally favorable to Lord Vishnu. It doesn't mean that he disregarded Durvasa Muni. He broke the fast as well as didn't break the fast simultaneously. Taking Charanamritam, 3 drops, is not breaking the fast, but it is also breaking the fast. That nothing should enter your mouth except the holy name on that day.
There were 2 hands up, but that have now gone down. One was Damodarati, one was Ujjwala Rasagya. Now Aparajita has her hand up.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, Damodarati, you were first. That's okay. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Dandavat Pranams. My question is, what are the rules and regulations for serving Radha Krishna deities at home? Because many grastas in ISKCON have those deities, and also Giriraj Shila.
Prabhupada told us to worship them as Lakshmi Narayan with awe and reverence.
Yeah, but
You follow?
yes, I understand that. But what
The
about
awe
these
is
offerings?
Is what kind of bhava it will create. Some attachment will be there in awe and reverence. The attachment will be increased into greed, but there is limitation in Vaikuntha. So they aspire for developing higher, and higher is available in Krishna Loka only. There also awe and reverence is there, but beyond awe and reverence, there is servitorship. Beyond servitorship is the fraternal. Beyond fraternal, it is maternal. And beyond maternal is conjugal. One has to pass through different, types of attachment.
What about doing this in offerings? Like they do 6 offerings and 6 artis at the temple. Do we have to do same thing if you have Radha Krishna deities at home?
No. You can't have a temple standard of worship at home. Better to develop awe and reverence. But if you want to develop, then it is safer to develop that at the temple.
Right.
Many
Thank you, Guru
devotees, good bhava to worship Radha Krishna deity at home, the smaller deities, but at the same time they are engaging in the external services. So it is always recommended that how household should not imitate the temple standard, Panchopasana, and they must worship in the mood of Lakshmi Narayan. You can't mess around with other bhava with Lakshmi Narayan.
Right. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Ujjwala Rasakya was next.
Hare Krishna. Pranams, Gurudev. Thank you so much for the katha. And those words on Ekadasi, they were also, I'm praying that they will be more impactful, Gurudev. And my question is, since the qualification for this Raganuga is greed, lobha, how can this greed be increased, Gurudev, especially when the sense gratification is still there? There is spontaneous attraction for food, but greed is not there. How to get that greed, Gurudev?
The greed will come. What is the precursor of the greed? Regulated bhakti. And regulated bhakti must be performed.
Yes, Gurudev.
Right?
Yes, Gurudev.
If we had deities home, yet we incline to go to the temple and worship. Means while we are not in worship, we repose our attention to our deities at home. Right?
Yes, Gurudev.
So, just to keep the attraction continued, we have at home. So naturally, the attraction will develop into spontaneous activity. That naturally, because it is our habit, it becomes a second nature.
Yes,
worship, carrying the same mood and mission at your home.
Yes,
you don't change your bhava that is developed.
Yes.
Okay. Aparajita had a question.
Thank you. Thank you.
You still have a question, Aparajita? And Vijay Lalasa has put a quotation from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati on the chat.
What's that?
She says, Guru Parampara are not monopolists of transcendental knowledge. The disciple who is obedient, submissive, and who has a serving mood will understand this. He sees the succession of gurus not as idols of stone or as mortal men, but as representatives of the supreme truth. The disciple sees that his guru is the representative of the previous acharyas and that all are servants of the Supreme Lord. The disciple does not think, I shall try and understand everything about the guru by my own intelligence. Rather, he serves and surrenders with his heart, and only then will realization come. The Guru Parampara is not a chain of mortal beings, but a transcendental channel through which divine knowledge flows. We do not worship the body of the Guru. We worship the truth that is revealed through him. From Gaudiya magazine, 1934.
Yeah.
Okay. Now Aparajita has come.
That means we are directly referring to the Vapu Seva versus Vani Seva. of the Guru. Guru is not personality cult, but the Guru that conveys the mood and mission of the Supreme Lord for his devotee.
Okay, Aparajita.
Sorry, Guru Maharaj. So you said that the greed comes with, or the increase of greed is with qualification. We cannot jump, or we cannot expect the greed to come without qualification. So I just wanted to understand more about it, Guru Maharaj.
Now we are starting from a regulated platform, right? But the regulated platform gives rise to meditate on our practice, at what qualitative meditation and qualitative practices are. Then we go further, that the reasoning for this practice, because it's perfectly situated in developing higher and higher modes. If somebody does not develop the taste for chanting, do you think he's going to develop higher taste? So it must be a regulated practice, chanting 16 rounds without fail. It's a regulated practice. But more you chant concentratedly, more you will be able to advance in the meaning of the mantra and the service of the deities involved in the mantra. The mantra has a meaning. Prabhupada gives the meaning. The seed words are there and the main meaning is there. So the service is to be rendered. We are begging service from Srimati Radharani because she knows the best. So we should know the mood and mission of this service through subsequent agencies that will take us to Radharani. They are Lalita, Vishaka, they are Manjaris, Sakhis, and so forth and so on. So Anudasatva is more important than claiming to be dasat. Anudasatva is more important. We have to follow the servant of the maintainer of the gopis. We have to become Anudas. We have to be given our references by the servant of the Lord. We can't introduce directly ourselves to Krishna. Learn from the learned.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Learn from the learned was something which we have to keep in mind always. Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Okay. Ananda Maya Prabhu is asking for an easy way to remember the Lord all the time.
Easy way?
Easy way.
Remember the meaning. If you remember the meaning, origin, don't construe meaning. You have been given a meaning. So, understanding the meaning can lead you to develop more and more disciplined meditation on the person, the qualities, and so forth and so on. So deeper you go and adopt the mood, cultivate the greed, and then follow in the footsteps of the who have achieved.
And Vrishabhanu Sutta is asking how fasting on appearance days of our acharyas helps us advancing in our spiritual life.
Fasting is necessary because the sense of emptiness in our stomach, if it is spiritual, if it is meant for spiritual purposes, then fulfillment of our heart's desire in spiritual life will be enhanced. If you fast, you will feel somewhere else. And that is the spiritual side that we are relating. That is just what you call a reciprocal activity. There is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam that if you are fasting for a long time, means you think of food all the time, all right? But thinking of the food does not make your stomach full, all right? So it is said, Bhakti Pareshanu Bhava Virakti Tri Ek Kala. All the three happens at the same time, you know. Just like the person who is hungry, prapadyamanasya kshutta apta, his hunger is to be relieved, right? So as soon as he receives a morsel of food, he experiences three things at a time. His hunger is getting, over. He gets nourishment and he gets satisfaction of eating. Three things are experienced. So similarly, if we are eager to understand, we will realize the process of bhakti, which is at par with Lord Shri Krishna. Bhakti, then Pareshanubhava, and Virakti, detached from the world. All three things are going to happen simultaneously. So in our process, they will also happen. It doesn't mean which one will be first. Bhakti will be the first, or Pareshanubhava will be the second, or then, Virakti. Virakti should be first, but it is the same time. As soon as you start putting morsel in your mouth, all three things will be experienced. That is guaranteed. Right? You will see that you are nourished, you are satisfied of hunger now, and this is the progression with an example that it happens. It's very scientific, to experience. But we have to perform through the process it has been given. This process is stage-wise. It is not like a big bang that all of a sudden it will happen. No. One rise to another. The greed rise to the power. Greed is always the main endeavor making agent to make a progress in our life. Actually, in academics also, it is the same thing. If you are greedy to score higher marks, then your brain will be always active. It will give many impetuses. Cultivate the greed of devotional service, and you will be there.
Vedavyasapriya has an analogy that she'd like to check with you. She says, sadhana bhakti is like establishing a pipe, and the eager mood of service is the water in the pipe for Raganuga.
Yeah, eagerness is there. Eagerness is the impetus for entering into the power. The more eagerness is turned into greed. It is eagerness that turns into greed.
And Bilvamangal Thakur is asking, he heard one senior ISKCON devotee say that you should reach prema stage before you can worship Radha Krishna deity.
People may think that way. Probably they are speaking in different tongue. But why you have to reach to the prema stage? Attachment is there. Attachment is not prema stage. But we have to become attached to serve. Then the spontaneity will come.
All right.
Anything else?
You have another class, Gurmaj, there.
We have another class.
You have a class there, don't you? You have somebody there?
No, today is that's
Okay.
it.
Okay, Sanivas has got a question.
What, Sanivas, Prabhu?
You mentioned that we should not have grains 18 hours before Ekadasi.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It was a comment. It wasn't
Because
a nice point. He said it's a comment. It's not a question.
Okay, all right.
All right. Then that should be it. Thank you very much.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Gurmaj.
Hare Krishna.